ROW is a topic which obviously is bothering everybody. As Mr. Chaudhary said, I belong to Sterlite Grid. We are currently, in terms of projects being executed, we are obviously the largest company in private sector today. And we are currently working right from Assam to West Bengal to Bihar to Chhattisgarh to Madhya Pradesh to Maharashtra to Gujarat. And any kind of reason which you can think of, which can give rise to a ROW, persist in either one or the other state. On one hand, you have West Bengal, which has probably the highest population density in the country. We are passing through Chicken Neck area. Assam has got its own issues. Bihar has a slightly bad name, but I think our experience in Bihar has been one of the best, except a small portion when we were crossing Ganga. And then we have Gujarat and Maharashtra, which has already been said. So I had prepared a presentation which was talking about certain other issues also, but I think I'll restrict myself to, if I'm opening the right presentation. No, this is not my presentation, so I don't know whether it is here or not.
Slide दिखाइए शक्ल नहीं. He wants the slide to be seen.
Okay, so the point is, let me just talk about this straight away. Everybody knows in 12th plan, we are talking about adding around 78,000 megawatt. Now, if you take as a thumb of rule, a megawatt requires slightly less than an acre per megawatt, which means 78,000 acres of the land will be acquired to set up a power plant. And this has created a kind of agitation within the whole society that the entire government machinery, politicians, private sector, everybody is aware about this problem. This is roughly speaking, by the way, this 78,000 acre is roughly speaking 20% of the surface area of Delhi. On the other hand, if you see the amount of transmission lines which have been planned only at the central level, even without going to the sub-transmission level by CEA, to evacuate this 78,000 megawatt, it will affect, and I'll explain the word why I'm using word effect, around 1.5 million acres. And when I say effect, by effect I mean that in case of transmission line, you don't have to acquire the land. What you need to do is to pay right of way compensation as per Telegraph Act 1884. A 130-year-old act decides that when you cut a mango tree, you pay 500 rupees to that farmer or 2,000 rupees to that farmer. Or when you take a transmission line on top of his land, you only have to pay for crop compensation only one time, not even for next 35 years, while you take away certain economic value. This, out of this land, at least 10 to 15% will be forest, which means around 1.5 lakh acres of the forest will be affected. And ladies and gentlemen, this area is equivalent to 4 times the area of Delhi, which means that the land which is being affected by power plants, about which everybody is concerned, about which everybody talks, and we have seen agitations in many states where people are not able to acquire land, is only, while the transmission will affect 20 times of that. Now the question is, on the other hand, another complexity, majority of the generation resources in our country are placed in one part of the geography. That means the eastern part of northern India, or in terms of hydro resources in the northeast, which means these areas are likely to have much larger concentration of transmission lines, which means a smaller population is going to see waves after waves of these transmission lines coming and affecting their land. I remember I started my career in NTPC. I remember in Vindhyachal area, there are a set of villages which have been rehabilitated thrice. First Rihand and then Singrauli and then Vindhyachal, and every time they have been rehabilitated, the schools and hospitals have been made. So now the point is, this sounds like a technical problem, but this is in my opinion, this is the best forum where we should talk about this. We got to find a solution. If we going to affect land at this scale, the backlash cannot be avoided. You come to my land and you draw a 220 kV or a 400 kV line on top of that, and you take away all economic value. As we know, as the sizes of the families are increasing, per capita land holding is going down. Now, only salvation of that gentleman is if he can find some other use for this land, that is the commercial use. But he cannot build a house or a mall or on any other establishment below the transmission line. So there is going to be a backlash. So what does it mean? We cannot we cannot stop building transmission lines. We cannot stop adding generation. And land is the only thing which man cannot produce. Land is limited. There is a finite amount of land available to us. We have responsibility towards our future generations also, the way we use this piece of land. We cannot consume everything and let them tell to them, you fend for yourself. So it is our responsibility that whenever we plan a transmission line, whenever we plan a new substation, we must answer very sincerely, very honestly, very diligently a question, is this the best solution? Am I really required to add a new transmission lines? Have I completely utilized the resources, the corridors which are already under my custody? This point was raised earlier also. You see, again, I'm slightly digressing. In last year, our installed capacity is 210,000 megawatt. The peak load met was something of the vicinity of 120, 125. Correct me, Mr. Agarwal. 90,000 megawatt of capacity could not be dispatched. Now, let's say 50% of it could not be done because of technical reasons, fuel not being available. But at least 35 to 40,000 megawatt of capacity could not be delivered to the customers because of the transmission constraints. So transmission has to be strengthened, sub-transmission has to be strengthened. So my submission here is, even in absence of my presentation, is whatever are the corridors which are existing with us, we must include in our planning criteria, both at the regulator level as well at the planner level, in a very strong manner, that how we are making best use of it. Just to give you an example, a 400 kV transmission line which has a corridor of around 42 meters, and if I divide that corridor by the total amount of megawatt which this line can carry, it is roughly speaking 18 megawatt per meter of corridor, which means the corridor intensity of using that corridor intensity is 18 megawatt. If simply you change the high performance conductors on that transmission line, the power carrying capacity can be taken to 51 to 54 megawatt per meter. Now, people may say this technology is not available. This technology is available in this country. There are several manufacturers who are today manufacturing high performance conductors which very easily carry 3 to 4 times the current. Now, when they carry high current, they operate at a higher temperature. And then comes another question where our state electricity board say, can I use existing towers? Yes, you can use existing towers, because today the metallurgy has been developed in such a manner that even when conductor is carrying 3 times the current, even when it is operating at 170 degree instead of 85 degrees centigrade, the sag is still the same what is for the normal conductor. So on your existing towers, on your existing corridors, even without uprating means 132 kV goes to 220 kV or 220 kV is upgraded to 400 kV, even if you simply replace the conductor by high performance conductor, which can be done in a matter of 6 to 8 months. People can do it on a turnkey basis, it's very easy. I have at least 10 examples which my company has done in this country in last 1 year. And 3 of them are government agencies and 7 of them are private agencies who gave a problem to us. They said, I want to increase my capacity by 40%, please tell me what to do. So first thing I am saying is, we must ask a question, I have these corridors under my custody, can I not?
Dhol is issuing edicts after edicts, yes.
Sir, just 1 minute, sir. Another
Not
last
me,
point, even when we are designing a new line, we must keep in mind that a corridor which has been consumed, and a transmission line is monopolistic by nature, it cannot be shifted tomorrow from place A to place B. We must think, when I am consuming 2 parallel corridors, is it possible that in one corridor itself, by using high performance conductors, I can avoid another corridor? My sincere request to planners and the regulators and the decision makers here is that CEA has already modified their planning criteria. The surge impedance loading has gone out of the window, now the thermal loading is there. And CEA has included in their planning complete curves which can be straight away used for selecting these conductors. So tools are available, manufacturing capacity is available, proving deployment capacity is available. What is important is that before we approve any scheme, of course it is messy. It is not glamorous like building a new line. It is messy, but It is a requirement. Somebody has to force engineers to do this messy part instead of going after glamorous schemes. Thank you very much for the time, sir.